Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Arca Plasmor. The blueprint for the Arca Plasmor can be acquired from the Corpus or Energy Lab in your dojo, and it's definitely on the more expensive side of things because it does require Forma, some Cryotic, and some Field Drone, which you can either get from Invasions or from the Corpus Lab as well. The Arca Plasmor is a Mastery Rank 10 primary shotgun that does 600 radiation damage per shot with good crit chance but terrible crit multiplier, somewhat harsh fall off, very long reload, and good status chance. The way the Arca Plasmor works is really cool. It fires what is essentially a wall of plasma that will fly through enemies and damage them as it goes through them. And the reason I call it a wall is because the projectile is huge. It is incredibly wide. This projectile is just great because it can clear a horde of enemies with a single shot, but at the same time it's also the weapon's biggest downfall because you see it's really easy to headshot something if you hit the entirety of whatever you're shooting at with your projectile. So at some point, I don't remember when exactly this happened, the devs removed the weapon's headshot multiplier. So while you can still use things that trigger on headshot, you won't do any extra damage no matter how hard you try. And that is a bummer. Now for the build, I ended up going for a status heavy setup that's also running Vigilante armaments for some extra multi-shot and addresses the long reload time with chilling reload. But if you don't mind the long reload, you can actually go with a hybrid setup that runs Viro and Hunter munitions and you try to scale Slash instead. Both of these builds have been nerfed quite significantly with the removal of the headshot multiplier, and I really don't like how unreliable the crit setup with Hunter munitions is, so I tend to stick to the status setup instead, which is only really effective up to about level 50, because at that point the beefy enemies take way too many shots to take down. This weapon, as fun as it is, has some serious issues that were previously masked by its great damage, but as soon as they removed that headshot multiplier, they crept back up. So the reload is terrible. 2.8 seconds is way too much for a weapon that has 10 rounds in the mag. The fire rate is somewhat low, and of course that critical multiplier is just bad. It's still an amazing farming weapon that's a ton of fun to use though. It's just that the damage isn't great anymore. Now you can squeeze more damage out of it if you go with the Hunter Munitions Viral setup, which has higher potential DPS, but as I've said already, I prefer this setup because it feels more reliable. So all in all, the Arca Plasmor is still a solid gun, it's just not amazing anymore. I would recommend you pick it up because it's a great farming weapon that's a ton of fun to use, just, don't expect it to blast you through sorties or steel path anymore. And I almost forgot, the weapon is also pretty bad versus the Corpus or shielded units in general. It does not deal with shield gating all that well. And that is pretty much it. So I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.